Good evening, everyone. My name is Nazay Phillip, and I will be doing my presentation on the relationship between adolescent behavior and violent media. The independent variable for my research question is adolescent behavior, and the dependent variable for my research question is violent media. What is violent media? Violent media consists of violent or graphic websites, TV, movies, and graphic video games. Most adolescents between ages 12 and 16 spend majority of their time and days on all different types of media. Studies have shown that with increased time spent on social media sites, watching television, and playing video games, adolescents tend to start acting like the characters and public figures that they're watching. Adolescents ages 12 and 16 partake in rebellious behaviors such as drug use, skipping school, stealing, avoiding authority, and authority figures. Factors that influence aggressive and violent behavior. Children are having more free time as well as access to all types of media, good and bad. In this particular study, the administrator ran a test on 10 students. Five of those students spent an excessive amount of time playing video games, watching television, and spending a lot of time on their phones, while the other five students spent the same amount of time filling their day with extracurricular activities. At the end of the experiment, researchers found that when presented with scenarios, students who spent excessive time on social media or playing video games had more of an aggressive approach to their scenarios, where students who stay away from media had a more regular approach. Studies have also shown and proven that violent game exposure can have an effect of moral disarrangement. Being exposed to such behaviors on regular cases causes difficulty for children being able to separate pretend from real life. Effects of violent video games on aggressive behaviors as well as it pertains to sex differences. It has always been assumed that only boys play video games and only boys are impacted by video games. And that is in fact false. Girls having the same exposure to violent video games can have the same impact on their behavior. But in most cases, it is more common in males than females. Impact of media violence on children's aggressive behavior. Children being exposed to violent media not only teaches them to be aggressive, but gives them a harder time to distinguish between what is real and what is not real. The constant exposure to hatred, despairs, and products that can, as a package of violence and aggression, further influence students or children to act more like the characters that they see. For my methods, I have chosen to use a total of 100 participants. These participants will be high school students from a computer science class, ages 13 and 16. All students in the computer science class will be able to participate, but if they are not between the ages of 13 and 16, their survey will not be used. To recruit, I will present the survey to the students and tell them that upon completion of the survey, they will be entered into a raffle that will have 3 drawings. First place will win an iPad mini. Second and third place will win $100 gift cards. For my materials, I will be using demographic questions, which will consist of the student's name, age, race, grade level, the amount of time they feel that they use their phones, the amount of time that they spend watching television per week, and the amount of time that they spend playing video games if they play video games. If they do play video games, there will be a second question asking for them to list their top 3 favorite video games. My second questionnaire will be the SIM-E questionnaire. This questionnaire contains 8 antisocial items. For example, fighting, vandalism, stealing, substance abuse, and 9 neutral fillers. This test is built to test if a person's personality contains antisocial factors or any type of violent thoughts. For my data analysis, my data collection plan, students will be presented with the survey as well as the opportunity to be entered into the raffle. Once the students agree to do the survey, I will then present them with a consent form for them to read, sign, and then take home and have their parents sign. Once they return a consent form, students will be given the survey to take. Students will have approximately 20 minutes to complete the survey. Once they complete the survey, they will place their surveys in special boxes. The surveys that I will use, I will collect and take from my correlation. Surveys that I will not use will be thrown out. My assumption of my data would be that adolescents who engage in more risky behaviors and watch a lot of violent media or spend a lot of time on social media will have antisocial traits as well as behavioral problems. By behavioral problems, I mean risky behaviors, including sexual intercourse, drinking, smoking marijuana, cheating, stealing, cutting class, stealing from parents, avoiding authority, and not listening to authority. These type of students participating in these type of behaviors are very much so being overexposed to violent media. In my conclusion, I have stated that in this world, with the amount of technology that is constantly being built, from iPads to iPods to Apple Watches to all different types of laptops, it is becoming extremely hard for parents to monitor what their kids are viewing, what their kids are watching, and it is becoming even more harder to keep them from seeing things that they should not see at the ages that they are. With that being said, I feel that it is very important for us to stay on top of these things, because all types of violence that is posted online can affect our kids today and as they grow up. And the younger that they start viewing these materials, the harder it is to break the risky behaviors when they become older. I thank you all for listening, and you all have a very blessed day. Thank you.